Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared, along with
Brian Held.
Brian Held. How are you, buckaroo?
Oh, I have such mixed emotions right now. It's been a very busy week. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Our intrepid photographer, Don Cooper, has been at Louisiana Comic-Con all weekend taking pictures, so I can't wait to see that.
He did something on his own?
He did, yes. And we have sad news that we're going to get to, but you're going to lay out the show.
I am. As always, we'll start off with top nerd news, then we'll go to our boy with his pick of the week. That would be Skungy. And then we have a very special guest.
Yes, we have writer, director, and producer Matt Frame, who did Camp Death 3 in 2D. And it's such a ridiculous movie, and he was so jazzed about it that I had to bring him on the show. So, and then, of course, we'll close it out, as we always do, with This Week in Geek History.
But first... And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by the Viridian Tea Company. Find them on Etsy. And now, your top nerd news stories. All right, Brian, what's topping us off tonight?
David, my heart is broken.
Okay, Buttercup, what's the matter? You need me to hold you? You okay?
I do, because I had to post something that I never thought I'd have to post. Yesterday, we found out, the Week in Geek radio show, that this Kevin Smith production that's happening right now, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which is an absolute boon to our community. I mean, how cool is that to have this icon of the geek and nerd world here doing this movie?
Right.
And yet earlier this week, that production reached out to local artists in our community, some who have been on this show, asked them to participate in the production for endless snacks and exposure.
That's a solid deal.
No.
Yeah, I like endless snacks.
No, these people are known and respected artists in this community and should be paid for their time.
Which ones?
I'm not going to pimp them out.
I'm just curious because did they only target like upstanding, fine citizens who have created a lot of intellectual properties, or did they go out to random schlubs who probably have no pennies to rub together and would really love endless snacks?
No, we are talking about established independent artists in this community, and as I understand it, because I've talked to a number of them, not just artists but businesses too.
Okay.
All right, and the emails were all the same across the board, right? And some of them went out to social media to post, hey, I can't believe I just got this email from this Kevin Smith production for exposure, right? But, I mean, let's forget that for a second, right? This is not you and me with, an iPhone going out and making a silly movie and getting our friends together and, hey, we're going to make something big.
Right.
This is a legitimate Hollywood-style production. Everybody on this set is getting paid.
Okay.
Set designers, makeup, whatever. All these people are getting paid. Background extras are getting paid because I've gone and researched. I went and looked because
they're SAG. They're in most. Some of them, if they're not in SAG, they're in the Background Actors Guild, whatever the hell that is.
Right, but the thing is I've been in background extra before. I've gone to these casting sites to look. There are listings for paid background actors.
Okay.
Why are you going to single out the artist and not pay them? That's complete BS. Especially for someone who's an advocate of comic books and comic artists. I mean, come on, dude, look.
I'm not arguing with you. I just see it different. I just see it different.
Dude, comic book artists have not had their page rates updated since the dang 80s, man.
Okay, well then unify. Make a comic book union. I don't care what you do, but look, there are people out there who would kill for exposure. I saw in our look.
People will die from exposure, David.
Well, good. Then they're idiots for not getting out of the rain. Brian, I will back you 1,000%. I am not arguing with you on your stance. I'm just saying that there is a side where I'm 100% on their side too. Because what about some dumbass who just really has just gotten into the scene? They want want that exposure. You brought up SuperCon in the article. Look,
I did.
I'm not attacking you, Brian.
Okay,
We're having a conversation, but let me finish. Let me finish. Yeah. SuperCon, it was a janky ass movie. I don't care what anybody says. It was not a Kevin Smith Hollywood production, all right? Will you grant me that?
Yes.
Okay. So if you get paid to be in SuperCon or you did it for exposure and free snacks, if you did it for exposure, you didn't get squat. But if you do exposure in a Hollywood Kevin Smith movie that everyone will see, you will be in it, and your exposure bucks may translate into paying gigs. Now, I understand that they have slighted some of our fellow nerds. I'm 100% behind you, Brian. I told you I would back you up on this play.
Yes.
If you wanted to start a crap storm, I love a good crap storm. But there are people who would love the exposure and the free snacks. I think the free snacks is almost belittling, but I'm
considering somebody who's on Weight Watchers because they had a heart attack shouldn't be offering free snacks.
Hey, you know what? If they're low sodium snacks, I'm all about it. But hey, hold on, gotta dump it. So what I'm saying there, Junior, is that we need to understand that exposure for some of the smaller people, they really could use that. And being in a Kevin Smith big film like that could help and propel them to something else.
Everyone who participated in the SuperCon production got paid.
Okay.
And
they had a budget.
Are you telling me Kevin Smith doesn't have a budget? The dude's worth $25 million, man.
I'm not saying he didn't have a budget. Why do you think rich people are rich? Because they cut freaking coupons. Because, look, it was funny because Ted, we'll just leave it at Ted, or should we call him Debt? We'll call him Debt, D-E-T. All right? So he put it out there that, hey, exposure dollars and the free snacks, that ain't going to cut it. But look, he is somebody who has been in the community for a while, and he stated in one of his Facebook posts was that, granted, it's probably some underling. You're talking about lots of people got this email because it's probably a mass-ass email. And, Brian, if you throw 100 things at the wall and 2 of them stick, you win. If you save, let's say, $4,000 to a budget that's even, like $5-6 million, that little lemming who was working for the big Hollywood production company, whatever money that production company is getting paid from Kevin Smith, they get to pocket. So if they get exposure dollars to some guy who's really wants those exposure dollars, they keep this is capitalism at its basest form, and I'm 100% behind saving money and capitalism, buddy.
I understand all the words that you were uttering out of your mouth.
Words that are coming out of my mouth.
However, that stance is an absolute slap in the face of a community that is already beleaguered and under enough pressure. People who have years, decades of experience as artists. Hold on. People who have decades of experience as artists are still getting the exposure, offer.
Yeah,
right?
Because they're always going to get it. All right,
but that's wrong, David.
Wow. Oh my God. Well, let's go out and start a campaign, right? Because they're always going to do something wrong. I'm not attacking you or your position.
Yeah. I know.
I know you're fired up.
I am so angry.
I love seeing you angry. Does my broken heart good.
I have been sick to my stomach all weekend long. I did not want to post that. I reached out to production. I wanted
did Matt Smith, did Kevin Smith's people get back with you?
No, they didn't, man.
Because they probably don't care.
They probably don't care.
They don't know.
I got jerked around. Hey, the unit production manager is going to call you. They're going to call you. They're going to like every hour I'm getting it. They're going to call you. I didn't get any calls.
Who really needs the help though? Who asked you for the help? And I'm not reiterating, I'm not attacking you, but you're a paladin, dude. I know you are. You fight for what is right, okay? But were you asked, hey, you gotta like push this boulder back up the hill, dude, because we're getting crushed by it?
No.
Does it really matter? Because somebody who gets a gig from this will be super excited about it. My only thing is that, okay, if we keep poking Hollywood in the eye, A, they'll never give us any new content, and B, what about the people that do want the exposure? And we price them out of the market, as it were, because they're not going to pay some Tom, Dick, and Harry who's sitting out here doing stick figures, as opposed to the people that we know who are amazing artists and storytellers.
Right.
Okay, so if you can get paid, by God, get friggin' paid. But if they're putting out a mass call they're going to say for exposure bucks, well, hey, somebody's going to fall for that, and they save money. It's a capitalist society, man. I mean,
get it. You've expressed that argument already.
I know. So what else you got?
That I pretty much laid out my whole argument. It was a mass email that went out. All the artists that I talked to and dealt with said that it was pretty much cut and paste, right? That they were getting the same thing, and nobody specifically asked me to do this. But I felt compelled, I mean, we look out for the community. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Right? And I felt absolutely compelled that this story needed to go out. And I expended every effort that I could to try to reach the production before I put the story out so that we could get some sort of commentary.
I'm proud of what you did, dude, because you did all the legwork. I am not knocking any of that.
All right.
I just look. Brian, it's a talk show. We can have that's the whole point of having this conversation, though, because I know that I'm on one side and you're on the other side.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm curious as to what our listeners will think.
All right. Well, we do have a phone number on the Facebook page if you want to call in. And
give out their number, because honestly, they can call and we will play their comments on the air. But look, if you want to tweet us, tweet at TWIG Radio, or follow, like us on Facebook at The Week in Geek Radio Show. Put your comments there and let us know what you think, man. We'll talk about it again next week, because I have the sneaking suspicion that this won't be going anywhere anytime soon, Brian.
And once again, I will reiterate that Kevin Smith or any member of the production that wants to come on and talk about this, our door is wide open for them. The number to call us is 504-323-5475. That's 504-323-5475. Call and leave a message. If it's funny, amusing, insightful, we may play it on the air.
Yeah, no, look, and honestly, if we can change the world for the better, Brian, and get like a standard contract to help out some of the comic book artists to avoid the exposure stuff.
Yes.
But as long as somebody takes the deal, Brian, that will never go away.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I know it sucks, and I know it upsets you.
It does.
But I mean, that's just how it is, though. That's capitalism in its simplest form, because you and I, you can't look me in the eye and say that somebody out there didn't jump all over those free damn snacks. Somebody was like, Daddy needs some Twinkies.
Yeah,
what happened.
No, I know. And look, and I just want to state for the record that this is not about self-aggrandizement.
I don't think, you're not like that.
Okay.
I'm not saying you are at all, Brian. I applaud what you did. And I think the direct text was, I've already bleeped, so I can't bleep anything now. But I said, I'm all 100% behind you in starting a bleep storm, Brian.
Yes. And
I'm about it. I got your back, buddy.
And just for the record, you did bleep me a minute ago because I went
you
off
were
the
fired
rails.
up. I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm shaking angry, man. This really...
Get off my lawn! He was screaming at the clouds when I first got to the station tonight. All right, what's next, Brian?
All right, well, other big news in Hollywood is that Disney reinstates James Gunn as director for Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Holy crap, Knuckle. That is, look, what happened between here and there, though? Is it because he started to work for DC? They're all like, oh, hell no.
So apparently the Walt Disney Studios chairman Alan Horn has met with Gunn on multiple occasions, discussing everything, and that Disney was ultimately persuaded by his apology and that, how he handled the situation as a whole. The fact that, even though he made those tweets 10 years ago, he didn't really engage in that behavior. It was more kind of joking and satirical. Yeah. And honestly, I'm happy for this because that means that people can move past their mistakes.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to be held accounted for something I did 15 years ago, we're all screwed.
Dude, I just think about 6 years ago when I started getting my ass handed to me by some people in the nerd community for putting up racy cosplay photos. They were like, how dare you? I'm like, I shared who it was. I'm like, right. I tagged them in their pictures. It's not my fault that dudes like chicks in Spidey suits doing splits along the wall. It's right. Really hot. I mean, artistic. It was artistic.
Right.
But so that is good that people, to hold you accountable is one thing, but to keep it over you and go back and look through stuff to try to tear you down, I think that's a boat of poop.
Right. That means that you can never grow as an individual or, make better decisions in the future. So I think all around it's a great decision, and he won't have to worry about any of the stuff. Of course, he's still dealing with Suicide Squad and all that kind of stuff, but none of that's going to conflict.
I wonder if that means anything for the Suicide Squad thing.
No, well, I mean, I don't know.
I wonder. I mean, he could back off of it. I mean, now that they've got a new Deadshot.
No, because he's signed on a right and direct, so it's not going to be a problem. He's going to juggle his schedule around. And honestly, Disney never talked to anybody else to direct this. They never moved forward with that. They've probably been talking to him the entire time.
They've probably just been waiting. They're like, all right, we got to make sure the pitchforks and torches go away, and then we'll bring you back on board.
Right.
Sliders.
Wait, before we get to that,
whooshing. You ever watch that show on subtitles?
Yeah, but I want to stay in the right. I want to stay in the vein of Disney while we're on it.
Whooshing.
So this is probably exciting. Would excite you. Disney is reportedly planning a Knights of the Old Republic show for Disney Plus. Does that excite you?
Yeah. Whooshing.
Sliders. Yeah. Okay. We're not going to talk about that.
No, we can. I just what's it going to be? I mean, is it a video game?
Right. It's based off of the game from EA and BioWare that came out a very long while ago.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess it would be nice if they brought it back in because then all that stuff would be canon again.
Right.
So I'd be down with that.
Right. And, of course, this is set thousands of years before the Skywalker saga. So it's kind of like what they're doing with Game of Thrones right now, where they're talking about doing...
Oh, you mean Lord of the Rings? Lord of the Rings, where they're going to do the Second Age, is right before, but back when Sauron was a little boy in knee-high socks.
Well, that would be the Silmarillion, but no, I thought Game of Thrones is doing a prequel series that's set.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, they are.
So I'm totally cool with this.
The First Men.
And I'm guessing they're just building up plenty of new content for their Disney Plus service that you and I will absolutely pay for.
And they're taking everything out of the vault. That is the big news. That nothing stays in the vault anymore because that's how Disney screws you. That's how Disney gets you.
It does.
They're like, hey, remember that movie that you loved for years? Well, it's back out on VHS. I don't want it on VHS. Sorry.
Okay. Now you really, really want to talk about Sliders.
Sliders.
All right. Well, apparently it's rumored that they're working on rebooting this series. And
best series ever. I love this series. They went off the rails when they figured out that, hey, we could use CGI and put dinosaurs in everything.
Right.
That's when it really crapped the bed. But they had some really good twists in the first 4 or 5 episodes where it's like they went back where Russia won the Cold War. They did all these cool little alternate history timelines that I thought were freaking awesome. But it's like they ran out of ideas.
Yeah.
They ran out of ideas. But I did like the opposite of the good sliders and the bad sliders.
Oh, jeez. Well, I do like
they call the Cro-Mags. That's what they call them.
The premise, right? I mean, I mean, you can. There's an endless amount of stories in this.
It was like the Traveler, the kid with the dude with the stopwatch, and every time they'd have to go back, the stopwatch would be red, and they couldn't jump through time until it went green. It's like Quantum Leap met the Travelers and Sliders, and it was a great show. I love the show. Cool.
So
I got all 3 seasons on DVD.
Nice. Well, they're just trying to work out the rights. They don't know who owns it.
I do. I can loan them the box set if they want to watch it.
Geez.
All right, Jesus, we got to go to break.
What
else you got?
Nothing worth talking about. So, guys, when we get back,
good to know.
Right. When we get back, we're going to have our boy Skungy and his pick of the week. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Come out to the St. Tammany Collectors Con April 27th at the Clarion in Covington. Toys, comic books, artists, games, and more. Meet special guest John Anderson from the MCU, Star Wars author Claudia Gray, and see over 13,000 square feet of toys and comics. All-day entertainment for only $5 at the St. Tammany Collectors Con April 27th at the Clarion in Covington. Find out more information at facebook.com/St. Tammany Collectors Con. Join us. You'll be glad you did.
Boldly going where no bar has gone before. The Bad Wolf is a bar, restaurant, and game shop all in one. You can't beat our specialty drinks, fresh food, and a variety of RPGs, board games, and miniature games for sale or rent. Stop by and hang out or attend one of our regularly scheduled events, all in a non-smoking environment. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill is located at 2010 O'Connor Street in Gretna, or find us at badwolfbar.com. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill, where everybody knows your game.
On Saturday, April 6th, the Autism Society of Greater New Orleans is hosting their 15th annual Autism Awareness Festival. Come be entertained by performances from the Stomp Troopers and the Prism Project, photo opportunities with G.I. Joes and Spider-Man, games from NOLA Games on Wheels, and presentations from Microsoft Digital Arts. Admission includes food, drinks, and access to all of the entertainment, games, and resource tables from local autism resources. For more information about the 15th annual Autism Awareness Festival, visit asgno.org.
Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Belle Chase Highway today.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
My name is Optimus Prime, and you are listening to
Starscream here, and you are listening to The Week in Geek. Call me Lord.
Welcome back in. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared, along with
Brian Held.
Well, Brian, it is your favoriteest time of the show.
Yay!
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
Skungy's Pick of the Week is brought to you by GameStop and ThinkGeek.com.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
He might be an idiot savant.
Woohoo!
Skungy, what's shaking, bacon?
Not a lot. And may I say that I love this new fired up Brian Held.
I know, he's so angry. It's so angry.
Dude,
I love it.
Let's.
I have a deleterious effect on him.
Oh, I'm so mad. All right, Skunny, what are we talking about?
He's so angry you could spit.
He's so mad he can't even talk. We're talking about the Division 2.
Ooh, I'm hearing lots of good things on the social medias.
You know what?
Jesus, speak English.
I'm gonna agree. All right, so the Division 2 is obviously the sequel to Division 1, which came out in 2016. Now, just to give you a little bit of backstory, the Division 1 was a game, when it released, it was welcomed, but it had a lot of problems with it. And Ubisoft did something that a lot of games don't do.
Refunds?
They just stuck with it.
Oh, okay.
They stuck with it. They didn't, give up on the game. And the game actually became far better post-release than it ever did when it actually first released.
Well, maybe they should have just, not released it so damn soon and finished the game, right? Before they release it?
Yeah, but the whole industry doesn't do that anymore, Dave.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, we all pay for beta access.
Will that change after we go disc-free, Brian?
No.
Absolutely
Will
not.
Will it get worse?
Absolutely not.
Can it get worse?
It's going to get worse, actually. I'm sorry.
Well, look, Don hates when I say it, but consider the fact that prices for video games have not increased since the 80s, right? I mean,
which is a good thing.
Well, it is, but inflation dictates that, prices should increase for a product over given time, right? So we should be paying more for video games, but we're not. We're paying that same rate, but we're asking them to do more and bigger and better things. And so we are suffering with this sort of beta release is kind of the way I look at it. And then,
plus.
Hey, here's all this DLC. Like, we didn't finish the game, so we're just going to throw this stuff. And you're $5 and $10, whatever. So anyway, sorry, I don't mean to derail you, Skungy. Go.
No, it's fine. I mean, that's kind of how the First Division was. I mean, it was good, but I mean, there was a lot of problems with the First Division after it came out, and they released a patch, an update, and it made the game 10 times better than it was when it was released. Now, they learned from their mistakes in Division 2, and it's a much better game right out the gate than it was in the first one.
Well, that's good.
Now, the gunplay is much better. Now, Division 2 is what they call a loot shooter. A loot shooter is very similar to stuff like Destiny and Borderlands. It's where you're going through missions and you're just collecting loot after you go through the missions to level up your character. It's a shooter, but it's got RPG elements to it as well, where you update your character and you get better weapons. They're leveled weapons, so this gun is level 5, and you have to be level 5 before you can use it or whatnot.
Is it single player or multiplayer?
This is a multiplayer. You can play it single player, but it's got multiplayer elements to it. You can go through all the missions with other people. It's a PvE experience, and there are certain parts of it called the Dark Zone where it's player versus player. Yeah. And there are a couple of modes where you can do 2 teams versus each other, and it hasn't been released yet. They also have raids that are going to happen, but those have not been released yet. Those are going to be post-launch.
Okay. All right. Okay. Is that DLC that you have to buy?
No, the raids are going to be, most of the raids are going to be free, but they will have, as Ubisoft always does, has premium content that there's a year 1 pass.
All right.
But, I mean, Ubisoft has done wonders with both the Division and Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege is probably one of the most popular online shooters out there, and they have constantly given content to it, and it's not, you get what you pay for. It's not dull. It's very, very well worth it. But this one, I mean, Division, like I said, the gunplay is 10 times better because it's a cover mechanic game where you're going to, hide behind cover and you're shooting enemies. Now,
duck and cover.
The AI in this one is so much better than probably any game I've played in recent years. The enemies will actually flank you.
Bastards.
A lot of shooters like this, you'll sit there and you just stay in cover and you wait for them to pop up out of cover. No, they have different enemies. You have ones that'll bum rush you.
Oh wow.
They'll have suicide bombers where they'll run up to you and they have bombs on you and they'll just blow themselves up. You have melee people who will run up and hit you. Or they'll have snipers or assault people who will flank around you. You have to constantly be changing your tactics. You can't just sit in one spot and hope to knock them all out.
There's always that one idiot who shows up with a knife to a gunfight.
There you go.
Exactly.
All right.
There are many different varieties of enemies. They're like like I said, snipers and heavies and melee people. It's really well done. The bosses, they're kind of bullet sponges.
Really?
And that's a little bit disappointing. But it's, hopefully they'll get better on that. Now, there are some boss stories. Just to touch on the story a bit, the overall narrative of the game is kind of whatever.
Okay.
You don't feel like you're actually, it's not that engaging. But you see some of these really cool villains, and you're like, I want to learn why this villain is the way they are. So that's cool. The little tidbits of story, when you do small missions, that's really cool, but the overall story is just kind of blah.
All right. So just kind of shoehorned in to have a game experience.
Exactly.
All right.
Now with something that's very unique with this game, with the weapons, any kind of information that you want about a weapon, you're going to get it. Be it like, it gives you 20% extra on headshots, or it'll tell you the damage, it'll tell you the recoil rate, and then you can actually go to a little known fact. A lot of people will pass this up, but in your main area, which is the White House, it's set in D.C., and the White House is your base of operations. You have a firing range that you can use to test all your weapons out, and it'll tell you how much damage it does, how much damage per second, what it does, all that kind of stuff. It's something that's very unique to a kind of game like this, because you normally just have to go out and test it in the world. This one, you can practice it beforehand.
All right, that's cool. Well, we are running short on time because I was ranting so much. So, what's the price and platforms, Skungy?
It's gonna be $60 for just the base game. If you want to get the Ultimate Edition or the Gold Edition, that's either going to be $109 or $119, and those come with the season pass. It's on PC, the dirty PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Okay.
Fancy.
Cool. Well, since all of my ire is focused on other areas, I'm not going to fire you today, Skungy.
Wow, look at that. Yeah, but I will. You're
cool.
fired. Get the hell out of here.
But hey, Dave.
What?
Knights of the Old Republic is canon.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't need a TV show.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
There we go.
Thanks,
Skungy.
Skungy.
It's the battle.
Yay.
All right.
Here. Stop talking to him. He won't be quiet.
I know. Guys, stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to have our interview with writer, director, and producer of Camp Death 3 in 2D. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
CypherCon, Lake Charles, Louisiana's premier pop culture convention, returns to the Lake Charles Civic Center April 12th through the 14th. Celebrity guests include Bruce Boxleitner from Tron, Caitlin Glass from My Hero Academia, and so many more. Concerts, gaming, panels, vendors, an artist alley, charity auction, fan party, cosplay contest, and a Friday night pub crawl. For more information, go to cyphercon.org. That's CYPHACON.org. CypherCon, April 12th through the 14th at the Lake Charles Civic Center.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Belle Chase Highway today.
Come out to the St. Tammany Collectors Con April 27th at the Clarion in Covington. Toys, comic books, artists, games, and more. Meet special guest John Anderson from the MCU, Star Wars author Claudia Gray, and see over 13,000 square feet of toys and comics. All-day entertainment for only $5 at the St. Tammany Collectors Con April 27th at the Clarion in Covington. Find out more information at facebook.com/St. Tammany Collectors Con. Join us. You'll be glad you did.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Pro Se Productions is a leading independent publisher on the cutting edge of new pulp and genre fiction today. At Pro Se Productions, you'll find fiction featuring fast-paced action and adventure, larger-than-life protagonists, over-the-top characters, and tight yet extravagant plots. Pro Se specializes in prose books, anthologies, audiobooks, and more. Go to prose-press.com to find our monthly release schedule and more info about our great titles. Pro Se Productions is your first-rate publisher of new pulp fiction today.
Welcome back to The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Like them on Facebook at The Week in Geek Radio Show. Here are your hosts, D Squared and Brian Held.
Welcome back in. This is The Week in Geek. I'm D Squared along with
Brian Held.
Brian, we have a very special guest on the line, and it's funny because you watched parts of the movie, right?
Yes,
and I got to watch the trailer, and this is what jumped out at me, and I want the audience to feel my terror.
This is the face of terror. That is the face of terror. Face of terror. Terror face. Terror face. Face terror. Terror face. Face face. And this is the face of a man with a squirrel attached to it.
That is terrifying.
Yes. So joining us tonight is writer, director, and producer of Camp Death 3 in 2D, Mr. Matt Frame. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. How are you guys doing?
Oh, man, we're
awesome.
Yes,
we're awesome. I have
awesome.
terror face. You can't see it because it's on radio.
Yes.
But just so you know, I have the face of terror.
So, Matt, first question out of the gate, what the hell were you thinking?
Oh my, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been it's been 5 years now since we started the whole endeavor. So it's been such a blur. I don't even know what I was thinking at the time. I just know what I'm left with, and we're left with this absurdity. So I don't know. Good question, but I don't know what the answer is.
All right, no, that's fair. So set the kind of the overview for our listening audience. Camp Death 3 in 2D is this sort of horror parody film, right?
Yeah, it's a Friday the 13th parody movie, at least the first 5 of the Friday the 13th, and it's just insane. It's absurd. You got people being beheaded by toasters. You have squirrels that snort cocaine. We have a Return of the Jedi speeder bike chase. We have just a whole a musical number. It's all over the place. It's a sort of a beautiful mess, but it's one of those things that if it's within your lane of what you find funny, you'll love it. But for the rest of the people, and it's about 50%, I find that about 50% of people who watch it just absolutely hate the movie and hate me for making it. But you need to take some risks, and it doesn't always pay off.
Yeah, no, that you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, look, poor Barry, right? Barry is one of the camp counselors in the movie. You just destroy that man.
Yeah, the interesting thing is we have about 30 minutes of other footage of him being abused in all sorts of ways, which will make the extended cut. So I'm sure we'll even bring in more hatred for that edition of the film.
So one of the things that I'm looking at is that people who donated to the crowdfunder have been told to contact the filmmaker for a refund on account of how awful this movie is. Have those refunds gone out?
No, that isn't true. Somebody with Wikipedia, you can't edit your own page. So I can't go in there and change it. But somebody from someplace in Ireland, because I saw the IP address, they had written down that the film was so horrible that I've admitted that the film is so terrible that I'm going to refund everybody's money.
Okay,
which isn't true. So
right.
I mean, personally, I love the movie, but I know that it's one that is offensive to a lot of people.
Right. Now, you have watched...
But it's very clever. I thought what he did was fantastic. I mean, I actually kept it up there. People say I could request it to be taken down. I think it's a great prank. So, no, I'm really happy that they actually did that.
Yeah, no, I think that speaks kind of the whole thing going on here. Now, let's see. You did a promo stunt to raise funds for this where you watched this movie. How many times was it?
34, I think, in the end.
34. It was...
What movie?
Camp Death 3. He
had to watch his own movie 34 times?
Yeah.
Serves him right.
It was torture, guys.
Yeah.
How many times have you actually had to watch it, though? Seriously, though. I mean, you probably watched it 434 times because you had to edit the damn thing.
I know every frame of the movie. I know every frame of it. So it wasn't that bad because I've done other stunts. The big stunt I did was actually before the film came out. I walked for 24 hours around the local high school track with a coconut chained to my waist. That's how we raised the money for the film. So comparatively speaking,
Stop.
What? Okay.
Wait, stop. All right. You chained a coconut and walked around the why so many questions. Why a coconut? Why did you chain it to your person? What? Explain.
Well, the sad thing is that crowdfunding unto itself isn't very effective these days. And so what I found is that a middle-aged man torturing himself in public is something that actually gets people's attention. So I figured that if I did something really silly like that, if I walked around the high school track with some sort of a strange item attached to me, that it would bring in attention, which it did. The only problem was that I did it over the weekend, so it was a Friday night and to the Saturday night. And what I didn't anticipate was that there's going to be a high school football game on the Saturday afternoon. And so what happened was all the parents, there was it's a fairly big stadium type of thing. So, there was hundreds of parents there. And of course, the high school cheerleading squad was on the track. So I'm having to walk between these poor 17-year-old girls a middle-aged man with the coconut swinging from his waist, and it seemed a little bit dangerous at the time, and the looks I got. I mean, I'm still a little bit wounded by the looks I got, but at the end of the day, it worked out well. We raised like $15,000 in a couple of days. So again, as humiliating as it was successful, and then really that's what I'm all about with this film. I'm just willing to do things to make it come to fruition.
Oh, I gotta write something. Get coconuts on the way home. All right, I'm good. Okay, continue.
So Schadenfreude apparently is alive and well. That's good stuff, and it raises money. So
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it works.
Yeah,
it's not fun. It's humiliating, but it does work.
So, despite the content of this film being as horrible and offensive as it is, I mean, is there some larger goal here? Is this part of a journey in filmmaking for you?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, I think that the idea at the time was to be able to, the big thing was, for me, it was about making fun of myself because I have bipolar disorder. So being able to make a Friday the 13th movie in which a bunch of mentally ill people come to a camp and are kind of met by these very, very optimistic campers and counselors was something that I just thought was too good to pass up. So yeah, I guess in a way it was therapy for me to be able to make fun of myself and make fun of my own experiences, in and out of mental health institutions and whatnot. So yeah, and I think that's why it became so off the rails as it did. I mean, it's not necessarily a representation of what it's like to be mentally ill, but I think having the freedom to be able to make fun of yourself for me was very freeing, and it was like, okay, well, everything's on the table, so let's just make this as crazy and absurd as possible.
All right. No, I mean, I can see how that would be cathartic.
No,
yeah.
I like that. I like that.
So, I mean, are there more projects in the work?
Well, no. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm next month will be the end of the thing. I'm just finishing off this extended cut, and that will be 5 years in total of work. And I would love to make a sequel, but I don't know if there's going to be any demand for it. I mean, it does take time for an audience and a following to develop. I would love to skip 4 altogether and just go right to Camp Death 5 and have it be in space and have everybody on a spaceship and have and also not to actually reference how they got there. That would be the ideal thing to do. But, again, it was such a long, arduous task to get the thing finished. And it is a 2-3 year project, any sort of film. So I don't know. It depends. It depends purely on what kind of a response we get and if there's any demand for it.
Well, I mean, do you have a background in filmmaking, or I mean, what do you do normally?
Yeah, I'm an editor, a film editor by trade.
Okay,
so that's yeah, but it's a different thing doing editing for the news as opposed to doing for film. It's a different beast.
Okay. All right. So
do you have any other character flaws that you could use to make a movie, though? You don't have any more? I got a boatload myself.
I have a of character flaws. Yeah. No. I can't imagine that I won't make another film. But I think that when you get to the end of a journey, as I have, 5 years, you're kind of like, well, it's going to be another 5 years of work. So what do I really want to do, and how do I want to spend my time? Because if you're not invested in the in a subject matter, you're not going to have a lot of fun. So
no, that's fair. That's fair. So how can folks out there in the audience find Camp Death 3 and in 2D? In 2D. Yes, and follow you on social media. How can they do all that?
We're on Facebook, obviously. It's Camp Death 3 in 2D, which is the Facebook page, and we're on Amazon Prime. So if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can watch it for free. There's a hot link to it. You just need to go to Camp Death 3. The letter 3, or the number 3, sorry, and that takes you directly to Amazon Prime. And if you don't have an Amazon Prime account and you don't have any money to pay for the film and you want to watch it, just get a hold of me via the Facebook page, and I'll send you off a promo code to watch it on Vimeo for free. So if you're like me and you're broke, let me know. I'm happy to send you a promo code.
I like this guy.
Yeah, no,
Free is good.
Yes, Matt's great, and he's spreading the torture around. It's wonderful. Well, Matt, thanks so much for spending the time with us this evening.
You're very welcome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the time spent.
Yeah, definitely. All right, hang tight for us. Guys, stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to close out the show as we always do with This Week in Geek History. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
CypherCon, Lake Charles, Louisiana's premier pop culture convention, returns to the Lake Charles Civic Center April 12th through the 14th. Celebrity guests include Bruce Boxleitner from Tron, Caitlin Glass from My Hero Academia, and so many more. Concerts, gaming, panels, vendors, an artist alley, charity auction, fan party, cosplay contest, and a Friday night pub crawl. For more information, go to cyphercon.org. That's CYPHACON.org. CypherCon, April 12th through the 14th at the Lake Charles Civic Center.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com. Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktieTans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends. Boldly going where no bar has gone before. The Bad Wolf is a bar, restaurant, and game shop all in one. You can't beat our specialty drinks, fresh food, and a variety of RPGs, board games, and miniature games for sale or rent. Stop by and hang out, or attend one of our regularly scheduled events, all in a non-smoking environment. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill is located at 2010 O'Connor Street in Gretna, or find us at badwolfbar.com. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill, where everybody knows your game. Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Bell Chase Highway today.
Hello, creeps. It's me, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to The Week in Geek.
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. This is D Squared with
Brian Held.
Now, as always, we want to strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio, and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
Well, if you missed any part of tonight's show or you want to catch your favorite part again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app,
and your mama's
there
house.
You go.
But let's wrap up the show.
This week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future.
Yes! Oh my God!
This week in Geek History is brought to you by Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, read by Brian Held. Available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. This week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
Da-na-na, da-na-na,
all right. First one out of my gate, you do not have to guess it, all right?
Good.
It's March 11th, 1971.
Was that when 311 was formed?
No.
March 11th? It's always 311 Day.
Okay. 311 Day?
Yeah.
Like the band?
Yeah.
Okay. But
I don't know when they formed, but
yeah,
they were totally a 70s band, right?
No.
No, okay.
All right.
Sorry.
This movie starring Robert Duvall, Donald Pleasance, Don Pedro Colley. Yes. Sig Haig, and directed by George Lucas. It's THX 1138. Do you remember that one?
That's the speakers. Those are speakers.
No, that was originally his first movie. It was.
No, it doesn't count as. It was like his student movie.
Well,
it doesn't count.
Dude, it's crazy. Have you watched it?
No.
No. You have failed as a geek, Dave.
You failed this city. Turn in your geek card.
Dude, it's a trippy dystopian movie, but
I only watch Soylent Green.
Okay, fair enough. That's cool. All right, let's see. You'll like this one, Dave. March 12th, 1894.
Ooh.
Atlanta pharmacist Dr. John Pemberton sells the first bottles of his tonic, Coca-Cola.
Yes!
Yeah.
Love me some Coca-Cola.
He created in his backyard from a combination of cinnamon, coca leaves, lime, and cola nuts, brewed in a brass kettle in an attempt to find an alternative to alcoholic beverages during Prohibition. And
another reason to thank Prohibition.
Yeah, it was marketed as a formula as a brain and nerve tonic for medical use.
Everything's a tonic, man. What?
Yeah.
Like it's the snake oil salesman. I mean, those were the best. Those were the good old days.
Yeah.
Screw the FDA. Bring back the snake oil salesman.
Right? We got the best stuff back then. All right. Now, this one, you're not going to have to guess this one either.
Okay, good.
March 13th, 1987. Sees the release of Sam Raimi's sequel to The Evil Dead 2.
Yay!
Yes. Of course, bringing back Bruce Campbell as Ash. Yes. Well, honestly, like I don't think I've ever seen the original Evil Dead. I think I've only ever seen.
Bad.
Yeah,
it was bad, and I think they were really trying to be sort of kind of good.
Yeah.
But the camera work was cool. Every time the demon show was like, that was the whole running thing.
Right.
But then it became such a laughable joke by Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
But then we wouldn't have all these great liners.
You found me beautiful one.
Right.
Honey, you got real ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hail to the king.
All right. Let's see. On March 14th, 1968. Sees the final episode of Batman starring Adam West and Burt Ward.
What have they done since? I mean, like Burt, I know like he's Adam West has done so many like voice work stuff though too.
Right.
I mean, but I'm just they could have had a great career in snake oil sales. Just saying.
Right.
Tonight, get your snake tonic. Would it be Bat Tonic? Him and Ozzy Osbourne. They started a new bat oil salesman. Bite off the head of the bottle? No.
Look,
okay.
Considering how randy those guys were back then.
Randy, I like how you put that.
Yeah, that has so many different connotations. But what's interesting is that they had new episodes twice a week, so they had as many episodes as a 5-year series.
Oh my God! So they did a whole lot of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
They did. And strippers.
Oh, jeez.
All right, sorry. We're off the rails again. All right, what's next?
All right. On March 15th, 1985. See, it was the date that Symbolics.com was registered, making it the very first domain ever registered on the internet. And
what?
Yes, and what's funny is as I was checking through my articles here, I went and checked it out, and on the front page, it's like the first and oldest domain registered on the internet. It's like plastered across the front of the page.
Do you remember me?
Right.
I hope you do. I've done nothing else with my life.
Right.
Poor bastards.
Let's see. Can you guess this next one? March 17, 2006. Directed by James McTeague and starring Natalie Portman, Hugo Weaving, and John Hurt.
Oh, my God. Natalie Portman.
Based on a comic book by Alan Moore.
Oh, is that the Sin City? No, not Sin City. That's from Miller. I have no clue.
V for Vendetta.
Oh, how did I miss that? God dang it.
All right, we got time for birthdays?
Sure.
All right, on the 11th, John Barrowman. Yes.
Yeah, that guy. Look, I love that guy, dude. He's got great gams.
Yes, yes, he does. On the 12th, Mike Gear, who's also known as Puddle's Pity Party. Do you know him?
Unfortunately.
No? Yes. No, I like him.
Of course you would.
On the 13th, William H. Macy.
Dude, his wife is hot.
Jeez. On the 14th, Billy Crystal. On the 15th, Jai Courtney.
Pepper on my paprikas.
And on the 16th, Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know why they don't fly the old Firefly around anymore?
Why?
Because it needs a wash.
Oh, it's terrible.
All right, what is on next week's show, or do you know or not know, or did I put you on El Spato again?
I'm still working on booking a guest right now. Things have been crazy in my life as of late.
Oh, Brian.
Yeah.
All right, so Facebook, go to our Facebook page, check out Brian's article on the Kevin Smith situation. Make your own opinion, or just listen to the first 15 minutes of the show.
Kevin,
again.
call us, please. We'd like to iron this out.
Or at least somebody who can speak on behalf of him, all right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
Walton and Johnson, making mornings great on News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM, New Orleans. An iHeart radio station.